The median loss in a nonprofit due to fraud is $75,000. That's the median. And the average loss, $639,000. So obviously, today's topic is one worth talking about. Okay, so nonprofits are really more susceptible to fraud because of the fact that they typically have fewer resources, which may mean staff, to prevent that fraud. They're more vulnerable because they have less oversight and often lack internal controls. This is all according to the Association of Fraud Examiners 2020 Global Study on Fraud. Each week I get a new summary from Google News of fraud cases, news headlines that relate to fraud in nonprofits. And every week I get that communication, which tells me that it's something that many are experiencing it. And I've experienced it personally. And so firsthand in organizations I've worked for. And so I have a driving passion to help nonprofits because even though it's perceived that they have limited resources, there's always something that can be done to create a safer environment, to put in place those checks and balances that can prevent the nonprofit from experiencing fraud. Okay, so to better understand fraud today, I wanted to take a time to share with you an incredible model that was developed by a criminologist by the name of Donald Cressy. And so I'm going to share that with you right now. Here we go. Okay. The fraud triangle is an incredible tool for understanding what happens in an organization when a crime of fraud is committed. So it's made up of 3 points or three elements. That's why it's a triangle. And the first element is the motivation or the need. So that person who's committing the fraud is going to have to, oh my goodness, sorry. I'm having a bit of trouble here. The motivation will be that person saying that there's a need. There's got to be a motivation. I need. These motivations can be pure. They could be a sick child. They can be a husband who's lost their job. They can really be pure, but they are not something that you can control. So they start with the motivation, and the motivation is I need something. The second is going to be a rationalization. So let's move to the left. And the rationalization is the I deserve. So I deserve to make more money than I'm being paid. I deserve to be recognized for what I've done. I have to give you a real quick headline, which is that fraud is up 51% in nonprofits at this time. And the reason is the post-COVID season of work, where people are feeling extra pressure of not being appreciated, or have this rationalization that says, well, they don't see what I do, and if it wouldn't have been for me, then blank. So rationalization is at an all-time high. Now, motivation and rationalization, you'll see both say, I need, I deserve. Those two things are things that the organization cannot control and cannot have direct influence over in most cases. However, what can be managed is the opportunity. It's the only variable that the nonprofit can control. So I share that with you because I've created a fraud risk assessment. It's to help people like you assess the risks in your organization, because that opportunity only exists because there are a lack of internal controls, a lack of check and balances. There are a lack of oversight and review procedures. So I want to invite you to jump onto my website, teresaclark.com. And at the very top banner, you'll see a link to that free assessment. It takes about 10 minutes to complete. And in going through it, you're going to glean a tremendous number of areas where you can look to strengthen your procedures, strengthen your checks and balances so that the opportunities will be less common, less available in your organization. I hope this is really helpful. And if you will, please just jump on and take that fraud assessment and make a difference today in your organization.